Who's the next Joe Burrow? Who is the next cigar-smoking Joe Burrow? What round does he live in? What team does he play on? What color is his jersey? Who is the next Joseph Burrow, plus mock drafting, plus a super flex best ball draft, promo code Smitty on Underdog Fantasy. It's all coming up now. In addition, your phone calls. Graveyard edition of the Fantasy Football Show. Let's go.
The FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Smitty here for yet another. Where's my draft? Here it is. Here for another episode of the Fantasy Football Show. This time, we're talking who is the next Joe Burrow. Not only will we seek out Trevor Lawrence and maybe another quarterback or two that could be the next cigar-smoking Joe Burrow in the drafts we're about to partake in. One Superflex Underdog draft, one regular old mock draft without updated ADP data. How fun. Yay. So we're going to be breaking down all of that and more, but let's kick it off with Joe Burrow. Let's kick it off with the next Joe Burrow. Let's kick it off with the guy that I think has the most upside to become the next Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. I think we all feel that that's in the cards for Trevor Lawrence, that the law dog, the sheriff, the Jacksonville Jaguar monster in the making is probably the most likely. I don't know, like if we look at a draft board here and we say to ourselves, where's the law dog going? Where's the Law dog going? Do I even have a graphic for law dog? Where's my law dog graphic when I need one? I think it's somewhere around here. I might have to pull a new one. But if we're putting Law, okay, we got to do this with a Law graphic. This isn't the same. Trevor Lawrence. There we go. Okay. It doesn't do it service if I don't have a graphic on screen. Here's the Law Dogs graphic. This amazing, flowing haired individual. Let's say the Law Dog. This is where Joe Burrow lived in 2023 in the 6th and 7th round. This is where Jalen Hurts lived in the 6th and 7th round. The Law Dog's probably in the 5th to 6th round, sometimes 7th in a 1 QB. In a super flex, he's going around 1. But we might see this guy climb into like the 4-5 range. Wouldn't shock me. That's where we saw Burrow and Hurts eventually climb to. They were 6 and 7 round steals earlier on in the offseason last year, and they climbed higher and higher and higher. Now Joe Burrow lives in the 3-4 territory. The log dog. The T-Law lives in the 5, 6, 7 range. It just depends on what kind of grandmas and people you're drafted with. You know what I'm saying? Punch that thumb up button on your way in the door. But the T-Law dog, he probably lives in that 5, 6, 7 round territory. Why do I got this on screen? What's going on here? We got the mock drafts coming. I'd probably say like there's other quarterbacks. The log dog. I mean, why not? It seems like, has anybody ever had a better nickname than the log dog? Max says, I'll bet you $500. What are you talking about? Bet who $500? $500 on what? Oh, is this probably toward That's Fire? What's That's Fire, Sam? Someone, oh, here we go. I wondered if it was going to be about Watson. I will bet someone Watson finishes above Fields this season. You already have a little challenge with me, young man. And that challenge is what? What was our challenge? Mike? What was our challenge? What was our challenge? That's Fire. Was this the Michael Thomas thing? I'm already forgetting. Remind me what our challenge is. What's up, Ron Navy? $200 minimum. That's free money, says Max. Sounds like a good. The log dog. Are you here to draft the log dog, Ron Navy? Does anybody have a different quarterback other than that's Fire that wants to say Watson? I'm not enough of Watson. You lost the vote by a ton when we put it to the Instagram vote. We put it to the Twitter vote. If I pull up the Twitter vote, you're going to be embarrassed. Okay? This whole notion that Watson should be anywhere near Josh Allen in a ranking. Let me screenshot the most up-to-date vote on that because it's ridiculously out of control at this point. 65% that Allen is a significant double open bracket alligator mouth rating, and then Josh Allen gets a whopping 16.5 of just the single alligator open mouth. And then we got Watson pulling in a whopping 9.6 and 8.7 on the flip side of that, which is too high, to be honest with you. But here's that graphic right here. Just so any of you, Christian Watson, Deshaun Watson, this is just on 115 votes too. This is not even like a 24-hour period or anything. This is a quick little poll that I put on Twitter. Instagram was really no different. And so 65.2 plus 16.5 is 81.7% of people know exactly what time it is that Deshaun Watson won't be able to hold Josh Allen's jockstrap or even Josh Allen's small hand towel. So anyway, what did That's Fire and I bet? Let's see here. Biased data on Twitter. Chat gets you. Chat doesn't get you. The chat voted yesterday. You had 15 total votes on the Deshaun Watson side. The chat doesn't get you at all. That's Fire. Watson's supporting cast is 10 times better than the Bond. Okay. Yo, on my break, saw you were live. Appreciate you, Nick. Fields top 5 or not, or loser writes a poem. Okay. I got to write that down. Fields top 5. Who was the one that did the Mike Thomas bet with me yesterday? I already forget who that was. They bet me that Mike Thomas would be better than Chris Olave in 2023. Who was that did that? I already forget. Ron Navy in the building. All right, we got about 31 people in here. I've been waiting for people to file in. I know it's a little late. Some people weren't getting notifications, but we're ready to draft and mock draft. Let me grab the link to the actual mock draft and send that out so we can fill up this mock draft. Here's that right here. Copy the link, drop said link into the chat, grab a spot. Let's go. This mock draft will fill up quickly. We're doing one draft tonight on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. We're doing one, maybe two mock drafts, maybe at the most, just so we can focus on this Underdog draft as well. So let's get on over to the Underdog draft while this fills up. That is right here. The link to Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty is going to be dropping in the chat in T-minus 1 second. Boom. There you go. Who's dropping some fire right now? Garrett dropping a $2 hauler. Garrett says hello. Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate you. Always dropping fire in here, my man. Garrett, I disagree with probably more than anybody, and he still is a respectful guy. Comes in, drops super chats. He's really a stand-up villain here at the Fantasy Football Show. Garrett the villain. Garrett the villain. I don't know if you're okay with that nickname there, Garrett, but that's how I feel about you, and I'm rooting for you. You're definitely one of my favorite villains. All right, here's the promo code Smitty Underdog Fantasy link. They'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. What that means is if you deposit 10, they'll give you 10. You deposit 20, they'll give you 20. You deposit up to $100, they'll give you 100. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty if you're new. Partake in all that. And let's get to the draft. So we'll start the mock draft. Oh no, we still got a couple spots in the mock draft. Let me drop that link one more time for anybody who wants to be in the free mock draft. Link has been dropped there. Pinned link is for Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. We're jumping into that draft right now. Let's see. Okay, click on the big board. If you go to the link that's pinned in the live chat, you scroll on over through all of these boards, these cards. The last card's the big board Superflex. Click the green button that says enter. 500K in prizes. 2 more to fill. This one's going to fill quickly, unfortunately, tonight. I'm sorry. A couple of you might already, click the link. 2 more spots. 4 left on Underdog, says Cop Watch. Don't doubt Herbert's skills, says the Doe. Ricky B's in the building. Peanut Butter and Waivers is in the building. All right, let's get on over to the mock draft. The Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty draft is filled, and I got the 8 pick. That's a rough one. That is a rough one. Let's see. Ron, it looks like you didn't get in. Spence is in here. Okay. That's a rough spot. Let's see what we can do from it. Let's get back over to the mock draft. Let's kick that off. Oh, we need 2 more people for the mock draft. Why are we so delayed on the mock draft? Here's the mock draft link one more time. Get into the mock. 2 spots remain before we kick that off. And the promo code Smitty Underdog Fantasy Superflex draft link pinned in the live chat and is in the description is ready to rumble. That draft begins in 16 seconds. Courtesy of Ron Navy Super Chat from last night. I didn't get to In and Out in time before they closed. I just cooked some bacon and eggs. So in courtesy of the Ron Navy. Ron Navy in the building. Mike Thomas to the moon. No. I'm up in 6 picks. Let's go over to the draft, the mock draft. Let's start that draft off. Boom. Let's go back to the Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty Best Ball Superflex and take a gander. Oh, JJ went. Okay. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, JJ. Joe Cigar Smoking Burrow. Justin Fields is still at Jamar Chase. Is Christian McCaffrey going to go to George from the Bay, or is he taking Justin Fields? Man, I almost got Fields from the 8. Oh, man. Herbert or Lamar. Let's go T-Law, because that's going to be the topic of the night, right? Let's just go T-Law and see what we can cook up. I'm on the clock here. We'll go Cooper Kupp. So, JJ, Chase, this is 1 QB. McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor. He's going a little higher and higher. JT's going higher and higher. I think he's going to cement into the 6 to 8 range instead of being like a 12, 13 turn pick, which is interesting. Kelsey goes next. We'll come back to this. Let's go to the Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty Superflex Best Ball Draft, where it's continued to go QB, minus the 2 little surprises early on. The JJ and Jamar Chase picks kind of let a quarterback fall into my lap there, Mr. Trevor Lawrence, who's the topic of the night. So I thought I'd reach a tiny bit just to get him onto my roster so that we can discuss accordingly. Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey, Tua. What's up, Ron?
Hey. Yeah, there's too much of a delay. Not having internet and trying to do it off of regular is too hard for me to get in on it.
So do I go Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, JT Diggs? I got Trevor Lawrence, so I can't stack anything here. I'm probably going to go Tyreek Hill or Kupp. They're just the best picks. I'm going to go Tyreek. I was kind of shocked that... You what?
He's retiring in a couple of years.
Oh, no! That affects
me. Smart
I know. That affects my redraft value. I don't mind this start. I was pretty shocked. I don't know if you saw the beginning, but it looks like we had JJ go 4 and Chase go 6. So it's kind of a gift. I almost got Fields. He went George from the Bay. If George from the Bay wasn't in the draft, maybe he would have fallen, maybe not. Let me see real quick if we're on the clock in this.
That's a gift even to have a chance at him at 8.
I know. I almost had him.
That did not happen.
Yeah, but that was nice. I got Trevor Lawrence. I took him before Herbert and Watson and Lamar. I don't think that was crazy. I mean, Trevor Lawrence deserves the consideration there. But this is a Trevor Lawrence night. This is about the next Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. I do feel like it's Trevor Lawrence, and that's going to be the topic of the night. Is there any other quarterback aside from Trevor Lawrence that you think has that kind of potential? And that means he had to qualify. He has to fall a lot later than, even Lamar. Or maybe Lamar goes there too. Maybe Lamar goes there too.
You don't want question.
You what?
You don't want me answering that question.
Oh, you're just going to say yeah, you're going to say Cousins for sure. I'm sorry, the reception's cutting out, Ron. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah. I've been without internet since 1 o'clock this afternoon. It sucks. But I made my phone a hotspot so I could use my iPad, but the iPad you keep cutting in and out on. So I figured, well, hell, let me call in and I'll be part that way. Mm-hmm. I don't need to draft.
So I took Cooper Kupp.
I drafted earlier.
I took Cooper Kupp and Joe Burrow. Garrett, see, I hate this ADP. I only have a couple seconds because I'm flipping back. I'm trying to navigate a live stream. I'm trying to facilitate the mock draft, answer the phone calls, do all that. And when I get back to being on the clock, I have very little time to comb through these horrible ADP rankings on Sleeper right now. And Garrett Wilson's sitting buried deep. I can't stand. That's why I hate mock drafting on there. If I had all the time in the world, it was the only thing I focused on. I could do it, but good Lord, bro. How hard is it in April? It's April 14th, Ron. How hard is it? Oh, I'm on the clock in this.
They were right up until after the draft. You know that.
Hold on a second. I was going to time out in this draft, so I just had to pick. So I've got Tyreek Hill. We'll see how this works. Tyreek Hill at my second pick. I got Trevor Lawrence and Garrett Wilson. So I have no RBs, but I got Tyreek Hill and Garrett Wilson. It's pretty good. We'll have to come back to this. I didn't have much time. What?
I got Najee in the 5th round earlier. That was really good. I thought I like getting Najee in the 5th.
That was pretty good. I'm going to time out here again. I timed out. Who'd I get? Devontae Adams figures. I mean, 3rd round isn't horrible there, but I still don't believe in him. So at the end of the day, I don't want him. I still don't think he's gonna. I think he could probably earn 3rd round value, but I still feel like it's going to be hard to do that. I don't think it'll be easy to get 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns in that situation, but I'm okay with what I got here so far. I got to circle back and see what running back I can get here. Rockout says best number 2 wide receivers that will skyrocket if wide receiver 1s get injured. Let me look at that in 1 second, Rockout. It's a good question. So my team so far, Trevor Lawrence, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. So clearly, if I can, I'm going to try and go RB here. Technically, I could still draft a flex wide receiver, so I'm not going to force a position, but it will be very advantageous to go RB if I at all can. I could stack. Yeah, I got some nice options here at RB, but I still could also go QB. Aaron Rodgers is still there. I'm on the clock. That's pretty hard to pass up on Aaron Rodgers as the 4th drafted player. But I could stack ETN and Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stack that. That was tough. Am I on the clock in this other draft? No. Lopez is. Lopez, you timed out. All right, that's fire. You're live.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to get up to speed. So I noticed you mentioned that the rankings in April for sleeper aren't great, but to be honest, most of the sites aren't that great. Underdog, ever since I joined tonight, I did a draft earlier. The rankings are way better on Underdog. I don't know why that is, but
I'll tell you why it is. It's because people are paying to draft, so you don't get one bad draft. It's all legit. I'm paying money. I'm gonna take this thing to distance through the round 20. Not to mention, bro, there's thousands and thousands of drafts. Look how many drafts this one particular tournament has. Current entrants, 42,000 people have entered. 42,000 people, and they update their ADP every day or two. Sometimes it's 2 days. So that's exactly why the ADP is amazing. How many times has Sleeper updated their ADP? I would guess 0. So it's how do you even mock? I just don't understand. If you're mock drafting right now, people are using this as a tool right now. Clearly they are, and they kind of were a big player in the industry last year. They took a big step forward. Why wouldn't you have somebody just walk in one time a week and just say, let me eyeball this, spitball this, and move it around just with my eye test. Let me just move Garrett Wilson up to 14. Let me just drag and drop this, hit save, and walk out. And even if it's a little off, at least somebody moved these sophomores up. And, Bijan the other day, that was hilarious. What good is it mock drafting right now in April? This is a good time to mock draft. This isn't early anymore. This is par for the course. But you're
I agree.
Yeah, Underdog is 100% accurate. And even though best ball is a little bit different, thank you, Garrett, for the super chat again. Garrett dropped another super chat, says Mike Thomas to the moon. 2 pick coming my way. Michael Thomas is the maybe if he's lucky, the second wide receiver in New Orleans, but probably not. It's probably Shaheed.
You want to talk about living in the past, huh?
Yeah.
And that's a 2017 take. Come on. Drew Brees is still quarterback in that world.
Okay, I'm on the clock real quick. Boys, hold on a second. I got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. Very good squad. I could go Jordan Love. I could go Bryce Young. I could circle it back around and get Najee. I like Najee there. Wide receivers, I've got Debo.
Najee in the.
Yeah, I'll try. God, I wanted to go QB very badly there, but I didn't want to force Love there. So Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Najee, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson's really strong. It's just.
Smitty, what do you think about Kyler Murray and where he currently goes in the draft and given his value? Because I know you're a Cardinals fan.
I'm timing out. I'm timing out again. God, I suck at mock drafts right now with the the navigating all of this and bad ADP data. I just can't even draft in time. Normally around August, I'm really good at. I mean, I'll time out once or twice during the live stream, but I'm really good at okay, I got 4 seconds. Like that guy, boom. But when I look at this ADP, in 5-6 seconds, I can't make my normal decisions. So I'm so frustrated with their ADP. It's garbage. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. What were you saying?
What do you think of Kyler at his current ADP? Because Kyler's I don't even know where he is. QB 16, 17. I think it could be a decent play. If you're not drafting QB early, especially in a super flex.
Well, yeah. If he fell, I don't know how far he's falling. In the super, let's look at his ADP in this draft. Kyler,
he goes a lot earlier in super flex than he would in regular draft.
So Kyler Murray went in the 5th round, and that's kind of high for a guy that could miss half the year, bro. And there's some thought he could miss more, but I think given he started workouts and everything looks pretty on course, I think he'll probably be okay to play by midseason.
He's like Hopkins. Hopkins was exactly like that. Remember, we were drafting him not knowing that he wasn't going to play half a year, but we'd have him at the end. and hoping that he would show out at the end. Murray's going to be the same situation.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to draft and get back to my Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty Draft. Okay, so I'm going to cue Anthony Richardson. Oh, boy.
So your undergrad was in what, Smitty?
Oh, gosh. Dang it. I should have went. Psychology.
Okay. So, psychologically, explain this to me if you can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I'm having a dream where I'm in a room with everybody talking best ball and just crazy takes, stuff I don't agree with, and I want to like talk about my opinion on it, and I can't talk. And I'm going around to all these different people, and I can't like.
You feel like you're losing. You feel like you're losing your voice at home or at work or in some sort of part of your life where you feel like you don't have control. No one's listening to you. You don't have any pull. You feel like you can't get a say anywhere, Ron, in your life right now.
I don't know. That's weird because I'm only at home, so maybe I don't know.
Is it a family kind of situation where you don't have a say?
It was a weird dream. It was a weird.
No,
dream
I'm not talking about a dream. I'm not talking about a dream.
I think I'm overloaded on best ball.
You what?
It's like stuck in my head. It's like stuck in my head. Best ball is stuck in my head. It's like I'm dreaming about it.
Doing another mock. Yeah, we'll do another mock. Just give me a second here. Rockout says, yeah, I mean, Ron, there's dreams are a lot of times random. Some people say you can read dreams, but it's not a for sure or anything. Like sometimes people say that dreams are a random firing of neurons in your head, and some people say there's a way to read them. There's not. I mean, there's not like a set. Hold on one second. I got to grab a QB here. Sam Howell. I should have went.
I think I know what activated it because earlier I was listening to someone talk, and I didn't like the take at all. I mean. And I fell asleep during that, so I think maybe that had to do with it. I don't know.
You maybe because they said a take, you were so frustrated you couldn't speak your mind and yell at them, and then you fell asleep, and it just the thought lingered.
That's probably it.
All right, hold on one second. Let me review this team real quick. I timed out and got Sam Howell. I was meaning to cue him for later, but it's still a decent quarterback situation, I suppose. But Trevor Lawrence, Sam Howell, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. I've drafted better teams, but definitely not the best spot to be in. That's for sure. I hate being anywhere from pick 6 on. Rockout says best number 2 wide receivers that will skyrocket if their wide receivers get injured. I mean, Jamison Williams is by far one of the top options for this question. Zay Jones, I suppose. I would say that Dotson could be one of those guys as well. I would say, Christian Kirk even has some of that value. I would say Michael Thomas, but he's the number 3 wide receiver on his team, so that doesn't count. Let's see. Elijah Moore maybe in Cleveland. All right, I'm on the clock again. So my team far.
You can draft from that spot.
You what?
You can draft from that spot and be very effective. It's just you don't like certain players and you will not draft them normally. But you could very easily, and I'm giving myself away, is from that spot. If I can't get one of the top quarterbacks, I'm going after JJ. I get JJ, and I'm matching him right up with Cousins. I know you don't like Cousins, but he's a viable quarterback to get because you could always still target an athletic quarterback after that because there's plenty on them, like a Young or whoever, and you still be able to get your Olaves, your Watsons, your London, and if you took that approach, you'd be stacking your team. You might not like Cousins as your quarterback, but
the difference between you and me, and it could prove that one of these leagues you're going to win and I'm going to fall short because of it, or it might just be that I'll win because my team, like, the balls out because I'm picking, in my opinion, the best players. Like, either strategy could win, but you are a little more apt to consider those kind of like sacrifices to get the stack or to get the balance or something, whereas I'm willing to put that on the line a little more to have the players that I feel are going to score the most points. And I know that it can definitely take you down if, let's say, you get into a round where, you know, someone's got Jamar Chase and Burrow. But for me, it's like at the end of the day, I truly am banking on my team scoring the most amount of points every time they step out onto the field. And I think that a lot of people get caught up in the stacking, and I think it can definitely be important. What?
I mean, yeah, I stack when I can, but I don't usually.
I said more.
I don't usually push it. I
more
don't usually
apt.
Reach for the stack.
But
I
it's not a bad thing, Ron. I'm not saying you're wrong for it, but you definitely stack a lot. You stack a lot.
We've talked about it. Yeah, but stacking wins. That's been proven already.
Well, but you'll
I'm not. That's the way you do it in a redraft. I'm saying in best ball,
right?
It's different than in a redraft.
But I'm saying you'll go above and beyond the stack is what I'm saying, and I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a strategy. Whereas I will sacrifice the stack.
My big point here is, Smitty, is we've already discussed that we get in our little ruts of players that we love and
That's
keep
correct.
drafting the same type of players all the dang time, right?
That's correct.
I'm just trying to open up your mind to try a draft or a couple drafts different.
But I don't want Cousins. I don't even want him one. I don't even want him one time. I'd rather draft.
You're a stubborn mule, you know that?
No, but you're saying that for me to want Cousins would mean that I wasn't a stubborn mule. Like, just because I don't want Cousins doesn't, like, I don't. It's not like I'll avoid it, but 9 times out of 10 I'm never gonna be in a position where I'm like, oh, I'll just take Cousins here. He's always long gone before I'm even considering him. That's that line in the sand. My line in the sand for Cousins, I never see it. The line in the sand's pretty far down. Doesn't mean that I don't like him. I just don't like him near his ADP.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think like the best part about this is your rule of best player available. You got to have like your lines or your rules and just don't break them. It's really what it comes down to.
It's not that I don't like Cousins. I don't ever draft him around his ADP, so that's why I never really own him. Similar to Amari Cooper. You what? You what?
Oh, peanut butter way. Rob plays Tetris on his draft.
But my whole point was earlier, and I know maybe you weren't arguing this, but I'm arguing it now just to finish my thought, is that you do stack a ton. Like, if you look at any one of your drafts, you'll get Osborne, Cousins, you'll get you'll side stack, you'll do the backdoor stack, you'll do everything. It's the tight end and wide receiver stack, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I won't go out of my way whatsoever to stack unless it falls on my lap, and then I'll definitely do it.
I have 3 quarterbacks. Like, if I have 3 quarterbacks that I'm and those are the 3 quarterbacks, yeah, I'm trying to stack them with at least one of their components on their team. I do try to do that.
And it's not that can't.
In a way where.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's not that can't win, but it has to be the right stack. And I feel like a lot of the times, I'm not saying necessarily you, Ron, but I think a lot of the times people will stack anything. And to me, that doesn't do anything. Just because it's a stack. Like, if you
No.
really believe in the Cousins Osborne, if you really believe in the Cousins Osborne stack, then it makes sense to do the Cousins Osborne stack. If you really believe in those stacks, and I think our phones are crossed or something because I think we got a huge delay. Go ahead. You talk first.
We could have some of these guys that are out there drafted. I'm not talking any names or anything else like that, but I watch them draft and they talk about stacking, but they're like, they take the crappiest players, hoping at the end of the year that they're gonna like do something amazing instead of taking the best players. And I am taking the best players at the certain position where they fall. I'm taking, I formulate in my mind how the draft flow is going, and I know where I'm targeting certain players. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't get them, but that's what I do. And then you have to pivot. You have to be willing to pivot at any certain time, and you're always going to run into like where you got a couple players where you're like, oh, which one do I take? Because I like them both, and where do I, so you gotta, and all that. But I mean, that's how I do, and it was successful up until that stupid.
I hear you. I hear you, and I'm not necessarily even talking about your strategy necessarily, but when people tell me you have to stack, and this again, not necessarily toward you, Ron. I'm just saying in general. When people say you have to stack, it's one of those situations where if it's not the best player available, and I'm just downgrading my situation to get the stack, that's where I feel like people make mistakes. If the stack makes sense, you got three guys that are all pretty close, the stack makes a lot of sense in that context. But when someone will actually avoid drafting a wide receiver that they feels like a wide receiver 1, they're taking a wide receiver 2, just a stack. I'm just saying that is crazy to me when people will literally sacrifice talent to try and just get some stack and hope that the stack does well. Like I believe me, I am the one person in this entire world that wants to stack Burrow and Chase. I love stacking AJ Brown and Hurts. I even like doing the running back wide receiver stack or the quarterback. Like right here, look, I have ETN and Trevor Lawrence. I'm stacking where I can, but
right.
You can only do it so much.
We got Lee in the chat talking about dude KJ Osborne is mid whatever, but in a best ball format, you could say that if you want, Lee, but he's part of the reason why I advanced into the finals last year. Him and Zay Jones, and there were certain players that went off at the end of the year is the reason why my team made it into the finals last year in best ball. Now, do you draft the same way in redraft as you do in best ball? No, you don't. It's two different strategies. It's not the same. It's just like Superflex and regular best ball. They're not the same strategies. They're two different strategies, and there's different strategies for. I mean, heck, Dynasty still drives me up the wall. I'm still trying to learn Dynasty.
Let's go Sky. I said, do I go Sky more? I need a wide receiver. I'm gonna go Sky. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing but strategy involved at every single turn. There's strategy involved in taking 4 tight ends versus 3 tight ends, and there's a big debate about that. There's a debate over whether someone in a position like, let's look at my team, where I've got Trevor Lawrence and Sam Howell, and I take 4 more quarterbacks because this is a 20-round league, and someone says, you got all those quarterbacks. Like, I'm banking on hitting one of those sleepers to really kind of swing in and save my potential weak quarterback number 2. I like Sam Howell, but there's so many different strategies. Right. But I'm always going to, no matter what, take the player I believe that's going to outscore the other player. Doesn't matter if there's a stack involved or not. If they're equal or super close to where I waver, then I'm going to take the stack advantage. For sure, but I will never pass on a better player just to stack it up. I just won't. But I stack all the time, so it's not like I'm avoiding stacking. It's just I see people that say, like for example, when somebody when we argued this in the chat before, is like to take Burrow. The argument in the chat was to take Burrow at all when you don't have Chase is you're never gonna win. Like that was the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard in my life. Like you could win 100 different ways with Burrow, and who's to say that Chase is even going to be healthy in the playoffs? Maybe you have Higgins and Burrow, or maybe you have Boyd and Burrow, or maybe you don't have another wide receiver at all, but you've got Burrow and he loses Jamar Chase.
Boyd, Burrow, Boyd, Burrow in the tight end, or Boyd, Burrow, and
or
the
just
running
Burrow,
back that they're going to have,
or just Burrow.
Yeah.
So, I have 4 wide receivers, 4 RBs, 1 tight end on the clock. I like Okonkwo a little bit here.
Did you get anybody to go with Lawrence at all? I didn't see. You got ETN, didn't you?
I went ETN and Lawrence, but I'm not.
Yep.
Not yet.
You got ETN.
Yeah.
Hopefully they.
I got a couple options. I got a couple. My eye on a couple things.
I think one point I would make about stacking is that it amplifies the results in either direction. So, I mean, you have to rely on that duo to, in theory, be able to produce more good games together than bad ones. Because either direction, you have to have like a threshold amount that you're willing to tolerate, because they will bust. It's just like, do you trust this duo?
Yeah, it also comes down to, like, at the end of the day, even if you don't have the stack, what I feel like people just miss the point on when I argue this is, like, if you have Jamar Chase and Burrow, and let's say Jamar Chase is tearing it up and he's an absolute monster, the person as Jamar Chase and Burrow doesn't just beat me, like automatically beat me, because if I've got Burrow and let's say I have Christian Watson, like Watson could outscore Jamar Chase or hang with Jamar Chase every one of those games that I'm going into battle with that person, even if it's multiple rounds. So you still got, at the end of the day, you've got to have pretty much all your guys firing off to advance to the next round. Like that's all it really comes down to. Like if all your guys are balling out, you have a shot at beating anybody. It doesn't matter what stack anybody has. But if you have, let's say, Christian Watson and Burrow does really good and Chase does really good, Watson's got to do good if he's your wide receiver comparable. So it just comes down to your team firing off on all cylinders every single week. It's like there's nothing really more to it than that. It just happens to be that sometimes, like if you have a Burrow and Chase, or you have a Diggs and an Allen, like those guys ball out at the end of the season. If they have a monster game, it separates you. But you gotta have outliers. You could still separate with Burrow and Watson, or Burrow and Olave. Like, I'm not going to take T. Higgins over Olave because I have Burrow. That's where I'd have an argument with someone, and I would just shake my head and say, give me Olave and Burrow over Higgins and Burrow, because I believe Olave is going to absolutely ball out. I could care less if Higgins is a better connection, or there's some sort of, like, I just believe that much in Olave, and I'm not going to sacrifice that because of a stack, is I guess my point.
That's a great point.
Well, stack could hurt you, because just like last year, right? I mean, look at my tight ends. I had Kittle, who went off at the end of the year. I had Ingram, who was going off, and I had Knox. All three of those tight ends I got in my final team in best ball.
And you lost.
Then
you lost
going
because
into
of the
that
stack.
last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost because of the stack, because the Buffalo-Cincinnati game, which I had Burrow.
It's
and
crazy,
I also
man.
had Higgins, and I also had Knox, and there was a fourth player I had. The game got canceled, and so here I am in the finals with 4 players that basically the NFL said, screw you, we're canceling the game, and
the stack killed you
at the top money because those 4 players don't play.
The stack said, "C'est la vie."
I still finished 169th out of almost 500,000 people.
Yep, nice work, by the way. To the moon, Ron Navy. Hey, look at this. I mean, speaking of stacks, I mean, look at this natural stack that I got. I feel pretty good about it. Didn't do anything crazy. Didn't pass on any talent. I got Trevor Lawrence, Zay Jones, and ETN. Very natural. Didn't force it. I don't need 5 of those different stacks going on. Yep. I don't need Howell to match up with the other guy, and like I don't mess around with that. If it flows good, I do it. And I try and stack where I can because there is an advantage to it in best ball. And redraft, I don't think there is a big of advantage as people try and make it. They try and tie the redraft or the best ball stacking into redraft stacking. And honestly, you're probably not good. You're not going to win. If you have Higgins, Chase, and Burrow, you have more likelihood of having one of those wide receivers bust on every other week, to a degree than smash with it. I've done that strategy 1,000 times, and I'd much rather spread it out. I'd much rather have guys pull their weight each week, especially when you're talking about records being involved and winning different weeks, and it's not just a total point race. I'd rather have Watson than Higgins in that scenario, or Olave if you want to use a better wide receiver.
Sam, you're right. It does take a lot of luck. I mean, there are teams that, like, if you were to look at the people who finished BB3 at the top, look at their teams. They weren't that great. But one game getting canceled makes a big difference. But you have to get the right teams into the finals, and you have to basically have 1 or 2 players that are active that are low owned, because a lot of times you'll have the same players in there, and you're going against a lot of the same players, but it's those players that you get in the 18th, 19th, 20th round or whatever, 18th round. In that case, it's only 18 rounds, so 16, 17, and 18. It's those players you get down there that could pivot you into being unique enough to win something like a best ball. You got to have some sort of uniqueness to your team.
All right, let's get back to the. I don't even have the right screen up. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Trevor Lawrence. Who has a different name than Trevor Lawrence for the next Joe Burrow, or are we all in agreement that that's probably the top choice? The next Joe Burrow. And to qualify, you kind of got to be like a 5th, 6th, 7th round guy. You could say Trevor Lawrence. I know you think Cousins, but like other than that, is there another quarterback in your?
Say Stroud. I'll say Stroud right now. I think is the next Joe Burrow.
In his rookie year.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, hey, it's a bold.
I don't see one.
It's a bold take. I think.
I don't think there's another Joe Burrow. I mean, T-Law maybe, but no, I don't know. I think Burrow's so good. I don't see it.
Now Herbert could be because he's probably falling to that territory. It doesn't really matter if you've been there before. If you're sitting in round 5, 6, 7, you qualify for this. Jordan Love's a good one, Lloyd. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a lock by any means, but that's a good one. Jordan Love could be that guy. Trevor Lawrence could be that guy. Tua, if he stayed healthy, could be that guy. But Tua's not. I mean, what about Tua Mike White cuffed? That could be good.
I misunderstood the question. I get what you're saying. Value, yeah, T-Law for value for sure.
Yeah, T-Law.
T-Law is easily that guy.
Fields is already round 3. He doesn't count anymore. Danny Dimes. Sam, it's a good one. I just don't agree with it, but it's a good one. Jordan Love, I think it's a really, really good one, a very crafty one. Mike White and Tua together.
I guess we could talk undervalued quarterbacks compared to their ADPs.
Well, the topic.
For me, it's Rodgers.
This is the topic, though.
Rodgers, Watson, Love, Daniel Jones, and Kyler. Those are my 5.
Yeah, Kyler just missing half a season makes it hard, but I like the Aaron Rodgers one too because he's.
We're forgetting one guy, but he's injured, so we won't even know. But I'd put in Purdy's name.
Yeah,
I agree, Ron. I agree.
I think if you cuff them, if you cuff them, then it makes a lot of sense too. Like if you were to get Trey and Tua. I'm sorry, Trey and Purdy.
his performance last year. Now, if he wasn't injured, now we got to see what he does when he comes back. If he, gets a chance to redo it, and that's a whole different topic there. But as far as his performance last year, he had that Joe Burrow-esque to him where nothing seemed to faze him.
Yeah, I like Purdy. His situation is good, but Trey Lance deserves the nod as well. Like all by himself, Trey Lance, all by himself, Purdy, especially cuffed together, both of them. There's a lot of opportunity, but I think at the end of the day, what That's Fire says is probably my ultimate conclusion is that, and honestly, I guess based on last year, Joe Burrow's performance, given that he had a slow start, these all would qualify. But I think at the end of the day, what Joe Burrow is about to become, I don't know that anybody, in my opinion, but maybe Trevor Lawrence could eventually rise up and become the next Joe Burrow long term. But for what Joe Burrow did last year, I think these are all good names. Because Joe Burrow, at the end of the day, he still lacked early production in the beginning of the year. He had Jamar Chase get hurt, and he kind of, puttered along in a couple games. So I think he climbed into 3 or 4. What was in most people's scores? Does anybody have a league in front of them? They could look up where Joe Burrow finished in your exact scoring format. I want to say he climbed to 3, 4, somewhere in that territory at the end of the year, which was phenomenal.
I think he was 4. He was 4 in my league. Considering
how slow he started, remember the first 3 weeks, people were like, "What's going on?" And even I was like, "What? Come on, man!" The bad luck Joe Burrow had in the beginning of the year, for him to climb back up into dance around the 3, 4 territory was phenomenal. But Richardson, maybe Richardson. If Ron can say Stroud, Richardson could be used as well. Even Bryce Young. Bryce Young could have a year. One of these rookie QBs could have one of those years where they're flirting with the top 6. It's very possible. Look how good the Garrett Wilson, the Zach Wilson quarterback class looked. We thought Zach Wilson, a lot of people did. We thought Zach Wilson, the way he showed up at the pro day and just, his college film, he definitely looked like he was going to translate in a lot of ways, and he tanked. Trey Lance hasn't performed that class. It's hard to tell with quarterbacks, and it wouldn't shock me if one of these quarterbacks was as good as any of the quarterbacks, even Fields, from that class. It wouldn't shock me. Let's see. I have to get.
Smitty, I also agree with you. Chat's big time behind Herbert, but I'm with you. It's too early to know with Herbert because he doesn't really have the weapons to support him, to support the claim that he could be a top 5 Q. He can't currently, as the Chargers roster says.
Herbert?
Yeah, Herbert.
I think one nice little change in Herbert could be in the top 5 again. But he does need that something. You're right. I believe he needs, he needs a Kincaid or a JSN or, Bijan or something like that. Even a potential Hyatt later, or Charbonnet in round 2. Anything that gives him some sort of weapon, because we all know that between the 2 wide receivers, there might be 4, 5, 6 games that they're both playing the same game. And
Some people are saying Flowers, Diego.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Flowers, Quentin Johnston, Addison, any of the big 4 wide receivers. If one of the big 4 wide receivers, Kincaid or even Darnell Washington, one of those guys lands there, boom. Explosion time.
George said you sniped him on Roshan Johnson.
Yeah. I was trying to get a tight end.
Snipey.
We're getting close, by the way, to putting that Trey Lance take in the closet forever into the dustbin of history here.
What do you mean? In a good or a bad way? I don't remember your stance.
In a bad way. I'm not a believer. Similar. Zach Wilson's worse, but
here's a mock draft link.
Trey Lance is it either.
Mock draft link for everybody if you want to jump in.
Can't
Lance-
stay healthy.
Lance
We
didn't
haven't
get
seen
hurt.
him.
Lance did not get a fair shake last year. Purdy came in. Purdy looked really good. And it's really, for both players, it's not a fair situation for either player. For Purdy, who came in and did awesome, and for Lance, that really didn't get a fair shake because the only game he played in was the Monsoon Bowl in Chicago, and then he gets injured in a rain game up in Seattle, or it was actually in San Francisco. And he doesn't get to play the full game because he breaks his ankle. So that's not a fair valuation of Lance. So
Yeah, but Ron, is there a more injury-prone quarterback that you know than Trey Lance currently?
I don't know if you can say that though
Yeah.
off of one broken ankle though.
He didn't play his
Anybody that's
final
on
year of
San
college.
So look, I mean, he goes out with a ankle fracture. Garoppolo originally went out with an ankle fracture. Then he goes out with another injury, and then you're relying on Purdy, and then Purdy goes out with an arm injury because the tight end. I mean, he didn't provide enough protection for his quarterback, meaning Shanahan, and it's just like really, Trey Lance is getting a crap deal. He's not getting a fair shake. I like Lance and I like Purdy. I like them both, and I think they're in a destructive. Their coach is destructive. That's the problem.
So also what I'll say.
Shanahan is
Also, what I'll say is that when you get to play with Christian McCaffrey, you look a whole lot better. So once Trey gets to play with Christian McCaffrey, things are gonna look seamless for him. I'd also say he's not injury prone yet. He broke his ankle, and that year he missed in college was due to the pandemic, not because he was injured. You could say he banged up his finger during the preseason if you want to throw another injury into that. But I would say with your statement, that's awfully bold to say. Can you think of another more injury-prone quarterback? He got one injury, really. He didn't like suffer through a whole bunch of a plethora of injuries. I think at the end of the day, he's going to get a shot. I don't know that it's a fair shot, so it's not that I agree with you. That's fire. It's more so that I think that maybe he's not going to. The same outcome could end up being the case where we both feel the same way, but for different reasons. But I don't think Shanahan sets him up for success, but maybe John Lynch will. I think the team's already talking about trading him. There's rumors circulating all over the place. Their answer clearly confirmed that they would trade him if the right offer came across. Sorry, I'll start the mock draft. If the right offer came across, they would trade him. I mean, they made that abundantly clear because they answered the question totally different when they asked about Ayuk. They answered the question totally different when they were asked about Trey. So they're open-minded to trading Trey, 100%. And that to me tells me he's set up for failure. But it doesn't mean that he can't overcome that. Like, does anybody think Brock Purdy was set up for success? He wasn't. He came in and grabbed it by the balls. So Trey still got a shot. Don't count him out. Like, playing with Christian McCaffrey puts you in a better position than any other young quarterback in the National Football League right out of the gate. You've got Deebo Samuel. You got George Kittle. You got Brandon Ayuk. You got a really good system that, it can set you up for injury, but it's still a very good system. If Trey does have no ill effects from the ankle and he has time on his side, which he may not because he might split reps with Sam Darnold, and who knows what that really means. But I still believe in Trey. I just don't know that I believe that he's going to be set up for success, but we'll find out. I'm really hoping he is. I really, really, really do hope he gets a fair shot. I need wide receivers. Shakir. You guys like Robert Woods in Houston at all? I don't know why I can't get behind it.
Because it's
Well, I'm
Robert
going to
Woods.
push back on this a little bit here. Ben, I know you say you hate the rain game excuse, but here's the thing: is neither one. I mean, Fields passed for 121 yards. Lance passed for 160 some yards. Yes, Fields. I mean, had 2 touchdowns, but in any type of game, I mean, did you watch the game? Obviously, it was like slip and slide. That's what it was. When you get inches of water on the field, I mean, you can't accurately, and it's the first game of the season, and we all know how the first game of the seasons go, and you got the first game of the season jitters. How can you effectively evaluate a quarterback playing in those conditions for the first time coming in? You can't truly evaluate a player like that. Come on, it's not an excuse; it's a fact. And to say it's an excuse and to look at the situations there, that was Trey Lance's first year. Look at Fields' first year. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic about it.
I think you guys both are right that there's a way it could go, there's a path for it to go either way for 100 different reasons. There's no way I'm attaching myself to Shanahan executing this properly. But there's also no way that I'm going to bet against Trey Lance because of his talent level is good enough with Christian McCaffrey. Again, people don't understand that. Like Christian McCaffrey and Trey is going to be different than Trey without Christian McCaffrey. Just like I promise you, if Brock Purdy came in and became the starter and they did not have Christian McCaffrey on the roster, we wouldn't even be mentioning Brock Purdy's name ever again. I don't think people realize how different that offense changed once it got Christian McCaffrey. You would not be mentioning Purdy's name as a future quarterback in the National Football League if Christian McCaffrey was not in that lineup. So it's a really, really unfair assessment. Let's see what Trey does with CMC. And with Trey's luck, CMC will be injured. With Trey's luck, week 1, CMC won't be available. That's just the way Trey's had horrible luck on this team. Wouldn't shock me.
Fields had a whole year, Ben. Fields had a whole year of playing. It doesn't matter if they were drafted in the same year. If Field had a whole year more of playing than Lance had. This was Lance's first year as starting quarterback. Starting out. And so you can't make that comparison. Look at Fields. When he first came in, he had the same. He played a couple games, had a couple nice throws, and then they moved forward the next year with him. So it wasn't spectacular his first year either. So of actual playing. So that comparison right there, that's not a true comparison.
I just want him to get a shot with CMC because it really is almost a ridiculous argument.
I think the best thing.
I don't want to bet against him. It's just like the toughest thing to say is like you don't, and ultimately like none of us really know. It's just there seems to be a dark cloud hanging around Trey in the Bay where there's like constant negative news around the whole situation.
It's not just a dark cloud. It's there's some rhyme and reason to it. People are like, oh, it's football. Yeah. It's football. People get hurt football. It's like. It's more than that. There's scheme that causes this kind of thing, and unfortunately comes with a Niners offense. Like that scheme is going to put a lot of players in a vulnerable spot. Let me see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to time out.
Shanahan don't like Lance, and Lance needs to be traded to be given a chance to show his full potential. He's not going to do it with the San Francisco 49ers. Whether it
sounds like you agree with them then. It sounds like you agree with him ultimately, just for different reasons.
I agree with him. I think he deserves a chance, but on a different team. It kind of reminds me of the whole, like when you got a coach or an owner that don't like you, you have no chance. Look, I mean, you have a chance, but you're everything's marked. I mean, look at Marcus Allen and the owner of the Raiders. Look at how much he put Marcus Allen through because of a personal grudge he had against him, and didn't start him and brought in, remember Bo, and he brought in all those big time running backs. Well, he left Marcus, on the sidelines back in the Raider days, and then Marcus finally got traded to the KC, and he blew it up there. And it's kind of the same thing when you got a coach or an owner against you. It's very hard to overcome those odds.
But what I'm saying is it sounds like you actually, because it didn't sound like you agreed on the outcome But what That's Fire saying is he's not going to work, whether it's because of the same reasons.
No, I agree with him. I agree with Fire. I agree with him on that. I'm kind of having a thing with Ben. He's in the chat. I wish he'd call in because it'd be easier to debate it with him. But I'm just I disagree with the fact that he's saying it's an excuse that Lance, the whole rain excuse, that whole game. But it was only one game, and it was his first game. And so he wasn't able to get properly evaluated before he got injured. He was out the year.
Yeah, but I'm saying ultimately, aside from that, I think everyone here is worried that he's going to get a fair shot. He probably won't. That's my fear. Like I won't bet against him, but I certainly don't feel like Shanahan knows what he's doing with personnel.
Yeah, I don't think. Fair shot. I really don't think he's going to get a fair shot. Travis is like, Ron's arguing on his chat over the phone. Well, you all got to know I'm on the phone, yeah, but I'm also looking at you guys' chat. So, and Smitty looks at our chat. So I comment on stuff that you guys say too in the chat.
So, not loving this draft slot, to be honest. I definitely drafted way better teams. This slot really sucks. I highly doubt anybody wins it all from anything that doesn't have one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks. But anything's possible. I mean, you just have to get lucky too. Trevor Lawrence is a pretty decent pick to have, though. But I don't know that I love this team at all. Trevor Lawrence, Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett, Kyle Trask. I mean, my quarterback room is okay. Travis Etienne, Najee, Gibbs, Charbonnet, Dillon, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Addison. I mean, it's a good squad. It's a good squad. I mean, my wide receivers. You what?
Who's your running backs? Who's your running backs again?
Well, my tight ends are Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Jelani Woods. My wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, Sky Moore, Zay Jones. I like my wide receivers. My running backs are good. Yeah, it's Etienne, Najee, Jahmyr Gibbs, Charbonnet. I mean, it's good. It's not a bad team.
Oh, you got to kill. You're killing it with that running back. You're be able to use 2 of those and like.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a good team. I for some reason I'm just not. When I don't feel like I crushed it, I don't love it.
You did, and usually those are the teams that usually do the best, the ones that you like the least.
Yeah.
Those are the teams that usually perform the best, it seems like. I think it's really good.
I looked over it. Looks like a problem at QB. But other than that, I mean, the team looks solid.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not bad. Like I said, it's not bad. I'm just not super pumped about it. I just hate when I don't have a Burrow, a Chase, or I'm sorry, a Burrow or a Hurts or someone like that. Copwatch says, Smitty, if you focus on and don't run mocks, you'll probably draft better. I appreciate the underhanded compliment there, Cop. But it's not that I drafted bad. It's the draft slot just sucks.
Well, you don't know how Howell's going to do, and you don't know, Brissett.
Not to mention, I let the mock draft go before I let the underdog draft go. But yeah, it's it's not bad. It's not bad.
Fact that he lost gives you a chance with all the other players that you drafted. I mean, how else are you going to go up against the team that has Hurts or
that's my point.
Mahomes
That's my point.
This type of team right here can compete with those.
Yeah. I feel like it's just a matter of when you feel like you have way better teams. Okay, let's go through these teams real quick. KD. Let's see here. KD. I don't even know who's in this draft though. Let me know what your team is.
He wants you to Dan Grimm.
Grimm.
The Grim Reacher.
Cash. Is that Dan? Cash. I recognize him. Trevor Lawrence. Wait, no. This is. Hold on.
You're reading off your own team again.
No, I didn't realize it had not completed yet. So this might be it. This isn't it. Is the draft still going? Yeah. Oh, I still got another pick. No, this is not the same team. Where is it? Completed. Oh, Superflex. Okay, I was in the wrong area. Superflex, qualifier. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So, Cash is in it still. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, fantastic QBs. I love that. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. Yeah, not bad there. CeeDee Lamb, Diggs, Christian Kirk, George Pickens, Evans. I like the wide receivers a ton. That's a good team, Cash. I like it. Let's see here. Dan Grimm. Dan's got Burrow, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy. He's got Barkley, Damian Pierce, Rashad White, Kendra Miller. I like it. Drake London, Christian Watson, Amon-Ra, Quentin Johnston. Very good team. Waller, Okonkwo. Really good team, bro. If Damian Pierce and Rashad White work out, you're going to be in a real nice spot, Dan. That's a really good team. I'd say that's in the top 5 for sure. Top 4.
Those wide receivers are stacked.
Yeah, I like that, bro. Yeah, my team, I mean, it's not bad. I know. It's not bad. Trevor Lawrence, Sam Howell. I don't know. I'm very, very down on the team from the beginning if I don't have a top 5 quarterback in a super flex.
I think you just needed to go second QB earlier. I think that's the only issue with that team.
Yeah. I mean, then I wouldn't have, who was it that I took? Gibbs. Yeah, probably could. I think I could have got Jordan Love instead of Gibbs. I should have did that.
I can't believe Fields fell to me at 7. That's crazy.
What pick were you? 7?
7.
Yeah, George was right before you. George sniped you on. On
Fields. Yeah. So he's the far left column here. Fields, Bijan, Walker, DJ Moore, Higgins, Lance, Brock Purdy. I like that team, bro. Ayuk, very good. Javonte, I like it a lot, Dan. Or George, sorry. Dan from the Bay and George Reaper. I'm mixing you up. If Cooper Kupp, I'd take Kupp and Chubb. What's going on with this mock draft that I'm timing out on? Let's see what I did. I'm on auto. Who did I get? Mixon.
Is there a night where you don't?
I always time out on a mock draft because I put the best ball draft first. That's what I was saying. Cop Watch was saying if I didn't multitask. I draft. I don't ever let the best ball get compromised. This wasn't me dropping the ball in the best ball. This is me hating my draft slot. I still think I drafted good. Garrett says Mike Thomas. Okay, so Mike Thomas, just so everybody knows, I'm going to put this on the board right now. Mike Thomas. Let me walk over. On the board. I'm going to write it over here on the board. Garrett says that Mike Thomas will finish as the number 1 wide receiver in New Orleans, and I'm saying that Olave will. So it's him versus me, okay? Or no, they're not even number 1. They just have to beat each other. Who beats the other one out? If Mike Thomas beats out Chris Olave, Garrett's got to buy the $99 Fantasy Football Lifetime Content membership. So he's getting something. He's just going to buy it. If I win the challenge, he gets it free. Okay? So this is on record. Injuries don't matter. I don't want to hear it. That's whole part of the Mike Thomas inverse allure. So I'm going to write it on the board. Garrett, $99 membership. MT versus Olave. On the board, Garrett. It's on the board. You can't get out of that one now. That's fire. What's ours?
Ours is if Fields finishes in the top 5, then I have to write a poem about how great he is and how he opened my heart. And if he's below the top 5, you basically have to denounce him as one of the, just a bad take this year.
feel like it was worse for you than that. Like I felt like you said something crazy. Like top 5 is still.
I can go back and check, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I mean, this Mike Thomas one is way more.
But I feel like that top 5 wouldn't have. I mean, I do believe he will be, but I feel like that wouldn't have fueled me as much. Like if you're like, I see him not in the top 5. I felt like it was something different, but that
I can go back.
It's fine. Garrett.
Who's your favorite team? Fire.
Yeah, hold on a second.
I mean, I'm from New England. So.
Hold on a second. That's fire. I don't care. Like I definitely keeping this the way it is if that's how it was. But I could have swore you came in with some much more disrespectful Fields talk. I don't think it was just top 5. It was something crazy.
I can go back and look. I'll call back in or I'll check at some point and then I'll let you know.
Because you were being like extremely disrespectful to Fields. Like saying he won't finish top 5 isn't that. Like if you said, Trevor Lawrence will beat him or something. I don't think that would.
He said he was garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
wasn't like.
Yeah.
He said he was garbage.
Oh, is that what it was?
I got on mine.
Yeah, it probably was.
You said he was garbage.
No, that's exactly what it was. It was you said that Fields was garbage. That's what started it.
How do we measure that? How do we measure that?
Yeah.
The chat. The chat. I think we said we'll leave it up to chat. We didn't even need to define it. It's like the chat will let us know if like you were missing.
We'll let the chat score it.
Because what if he? I mean, that could be to my disadvantage too if he plays okay, but people are like, bro, he doesn't have it. He can't throw. Like I could see that going in your direction.
What number are you comfortable with? Like what top are you comfortable with?
You know, I'm fine with it since it's such a funny challenge anyway. It's just a poem. You know, it's just a heartfelt poem of denouncing Fields or loving Fields on your side and my side. And so if the chat deems him garbage and I don't agree, I don't care. I'll sing him a little poem.
So he finished in top 6 quarterback. He's got to finish better than that. You
what?
I think top 6 is fair.
I just say we let the chat decide if he's garbage or not. I think if, let's say, he has an injury or something and the chat still loves him, or let's say he has an injury and he doesn't play well and people just give up on him, Like, there are a lot of people that hate Fields already, that if Fields has a bad accuracy year, he could even do fairly well on the ground and someone will still say he's garbage. So it could work to your advantage.
That's fair. I'm okay with letting chat decide. I'm comfortable with that.
I feel like it was definitely not top 5. I know that because when you said that, I'm like, that's not what it would.
I didn't remember what it was. I think it was we didn't quantify it and just let chat decide. I think you're right about that.
Okay, so Fields is garbage. And Ron Navy and I have the Bengals win the division or the Steelers win the division.
Neither one of them are winning the division. So.
Well, that's you in fairy tale land with your Cleveland Browns, bro. But if the Bengals win the division, Ron Navy's beating his high super chat of the year, which is right at the bottom. Why does this keep going away? Where is it? Hold on a second. I got to find it.
Yeah, if the Bengals pull off a Bijan or Charbonnet deal, I could be in real jeopardy in this bet. I'll admit to that one. If they get either one of those two, I could be in jeopardy.
Kind of wishful thinking, Ron.
Yeah, well, Ron's he's a company guy. Even though he's not on staff and doesn't work for the company whatsoever, he's still a company guy. It's like Ron's either way. Ron's supporting the show or he's supporting his team. Biggest super chat of all time is 765. If the Bengals win the division, Ron says he's going to match or greater 766 his biggest super chat of the year. So I'm going to be the big. Hold on one second. Ron, are you watching the screen?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Can I get a drum roll?
It's really delayed, though.
Can I get a drum roll?
It's really delayed.
Can I get a drum roll? Drum roll, someone. Nobody?
1 a.m. near me. Someone else drum roll.
Someone drum roll. Joseph cigar smoking Burrow jersey on my persons. This courtesy of Raj, who bet me a bet and lost fair and square. And this jersey's on behalf of Raj. Joseph cigar smoking Burrow. Look at this bad boy. I'll be wearing this when Ron loses the bet. I haven't worn a jersey in a while. A little tight in the shoulders. Little. Maybe we could. How's he throwing this? How's he? I feel like this is like Dalvin Cook's flak jacket. I feel like I can't even move my shoulder. I think Dalvin Cook wore this. I don't think his shoulder would pop out of the socket. I can't even raise my arms. Like right here, I feel like I'm gonna rip the whole thing.
Maybe that's why Burrow wore the other jersey on his interview that one time.
What'd you buy?
His jersey was just too tight for him.
What'd you buy me, Raj? What is this? This is a men's like XL with like size medium arms. What's going on here? Hold on,
that's funny.
Let's do a drop back pass and see how this works. Ready? Blue 32. Oh my god.
He bought you Raj size.
Raj probably bought a jersey that was damaged and it had no sleeves. Then he bought a medium jersey or small, sewed on the arms. What? Does this not seem short? Does this seem?
That's funny. He's trying to tell you Burrow's defective there, Smitty.
I feel like these sleeves are a size small. I have been lifting. It says, it's spelled wrong. It's like bongles. Made overseas. Bongles. The font, is the font right? Okay, maybe I think it is real. It feels real.
I think we can all agree that Michael Thomas bet is the most outrageous. I mean, it's like taking money from your grandma. That you should be checking Twitter every hour, making sure this guy doesn't have a toe injury.
I feel a little bad for him, but I can only.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can only control what I can control. You know, someone comes to me and says, "Hey, Smitty, let me buy a lifetime membership." I'm not gonna say no. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate you, Ron. Let's see. Let's go with That's Fire. Any final thoughts?
No, I think I got it all in.
Right.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Later. Ron, any final thoughts?
Fire. No, it was fun. I mean, I didn't get the draft, but that's okay. It was fun watching everybody draft and just having fun talking.
Someone says it looks too shiny to be real. I think it's real. I just think it's, let's examine it. Let's examine it. Let's get this off so we don't get it too full of marker. Let's take a look.
You can always mount. If you can't wear it, you can mount it.
I mean, it's definitely not like one he's putting on and going out there. It's definitely like in between the real and the not real. You know what I mean? Like this is thick. It's definitely a thick material, but this ain't like a game day jersey. You know what I mean?
Smitty's putting it under the light test.
I mean, when you get this patch, you know that's at least it's quality enough. But definitely, like I said, you're not. He's not running onto the field with this thing. It's not sewn on letters and such. But it's a quality enough jersey. It's $100 jersey. In all fairness, I picked it out.
Yeah, nobody to blame but yourself now.
Yeah, I really do. Raj didn't actually select it. I'm just messing with them. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you, Ron.
Appreciate you too.
Oh, George. Hey, I forgot. George is even there. George.
What?
What's going on? Do you fall asleep or?
No, I'm good. I'm just hanging out. Listen, I'm just thinking about
George
that bet
word
between
in
me and Ron. That's crazy.
He's thinking about that bet between me and Ron.
Yeah, that's crazy. Ron is smoking crack.
What do you mean I'm smoking crack? I ain't smoking crack.
We don't do that on the show.
I have Burrow throwing for over 5,000 yards this year, and he's going to win the Super Bowl finally.
Yeah, and he's going to be MVP.
Oh, he's going to well over the Niners?
I think they're going to play the Niners in the Super Bowl and win.
Why is it, Ron? Why is it that shocking?
The Niners got to come to Pittsburgh this year, buddy. So I want to hear you talking smack after we beat the Niners in Pittsburgh.
All right, looks like we got to get our little bet. Look, I'll take the Niners over the Steelers.
Ron, you're so funny though when you bring up the.
You're a Niner fan. You should.
Ron, when you bring up the Steelers, it's like
He turns into an aggressive guy.
It's like no, but it's like you found I don't know, a tank, and you're going into like a sword battle. You're like you're gonna come up against the Steelers. Don't you realize there's a
hey, look at last year who was getting up? We were both getting upset because you were like, oh Burrow, and then like 4 sacks later, Burrow.
Yeah, they
Steeler
did.
Defense.
They did dominate him in
and then
week
you
1.
were getting mad at that game when the defense was destroying Burrow.
They were, but there is some offensive line upgrades. Look, I won't lie. If they didn't improve the offensive line, I would probably be saying, you know what, Burrow could do it, but he's got to have everything go right for him. But there's going to be a whole different sense of protection around Burrow now. Burrow's going to look like he's playing.
Same with Pickett. We got 2 brand new guards. I think we get a offensive tackle in the draft, and I think we've already shored up and made our defense even better. So, yeah, I think.
Don't worry, Ron. Pickett's gonna become very familiar with a guy named Nick Bosa.
Oh my God! Prime says Ron needs to stay in his lane. Best ball advice only. No football.
What do you think? What do you think Pickett's gonna do touchdown wise, Ron?
Huh?
What do you think Pickett's gonna do touchdown wise?
We already said that in that one stream that you had us saved. Remember?
I know. I forget.
You told me to give you 3.
You what?
Yeah, I have a mind like a steel trap, Smitty. I don't forget stuff.
What did you say Pickett would do then? If you could retrieve it from your steel vault brain, how many touchdowns will Pickett have?
I think the high I said was 35. I think the low I said was like 27. Or it might have been 23. But I did save that. You told me to give you three guesses. So
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if Pickett throws for 35 touchdowns, I will.
We already made that bet.
What was the bet?
We made that bet. Let's see. Hold on a second here. Let me go.
I think 35 is really high for Pickett.
Yeah. This is a wee bit.
We know for sure because I saved that show in particular.
Ron, what happened to the memory, Ron?
No, because you told us to save that show for when you forgot.
Yeah, true.
He did pick 3 numbers. I remember that. He did pick 3 numbers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But, yeah, so we already have that bet. We already had
field trap.
We already have that bet, Ron, but what I'm saying is I'm just going to give you a freebie. I don't even think you even have to give me anything. If Pickett throws for 35 TDs or more, what's something that's big that's 35? Like, I don't want to do 35 push-ups.
How about 35 total? Because Pickett could run for 3 or 4, so give him 35 total touchdowns.
That's fine. If he scores 35 total touchdowns, Pickett, what can I do that signifies 35 that would be tough? Like, push-ups is nothing. That's not even, 35 miles is too far. 35 flights of stairs on a live stream, like something like that. How about I go run 35 flights of stairs nonstop on a live stream? I mean, of course, I'm going to probably stop and like drag my body up the final flight, but maybe I can run 35 flights. I'll run up, come down, run up, come down, run up. Is anybody having a better idea for 35, the number 35, something that is going to be tough to do? Like, I can't run 35 miles. Someone give me an
Ready,
idea.
Smitty?
Throughout 3 numbers, Ron, you get any one of the 3 correct. On passing touchdowns, not combined, passing. Keep the link.
Just passing touchdowns?
Just passing. You gotta get the number right. I'm gonna give you 3 guesses for it to get it right. You can do what Rockout did. Rockout picked 7 and 10 when I gave him 2 numbers instead of doing 10 and 11 or 9 and 10. He did 7 and 10.
Wow.
So go ahead, toss out a touchdown total. You get it correct, and you got 3 guesses. Ron Navy is going to go on.
I think I was surprised by one of his low numbers.
Keep it up the whole time.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, 3 numbers. I think better odds than me. Yeah, I guess, huh?
Yeah, but he's going to go so high. He's going to go so high.
It was 20-something.
It's like dragging. It's like pulling teeth, Ron.
39 or 40.
I'm gonna say 28.
28?
It's like
31. 28, 31. And I'll go a little, I'll say 26.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
You heard it, boys.
Yeah.
That was
So,
it.
and that was what? What do you?
Was from 3 weeks ago.
And what do you get if you get that? What do you get if you get that? I forget.
You're gonna put Ron Navy across.
That's right.
The
That's right.
top part of the screen.
Okay. Yeah. Keep that at record. But this is an additional. This is an additional thing.
Rock out.
This is an additional thing.
Okay.
35. What number can we do? Like 35 burpees, 35 flights of stairs on a live stream?
You got to eat 35 In-N-Out burgers in an
No,
hour.
that's you're gonna kill me. 35. I don't want to gain weight. Give me something where I can lose weight. 35 flights of stairs, 35 burpees. 35-hour live stream is pretty good too. I'd maybe do that if it was 35 passing touchdowns, but 35. Someone give us a good one.
Uh,
3.5 miles, someone said on a live stream.
no, you do that in a day.
Well, I used to, but 35 pull-ups. I mean, that wouldn't be that hard, though, but yeah, I could do that, but something harder. 35 flights of stairs would be pretty tough on a live stream, I think.
What about like on-call push-ups? Like Ron can call in and be like, hey, give me a push-up, like while you're midstream and you have to do it.
35. Ask for 35 push-ups at any moment.
Yeah.
For a whole week straight.
5 push-ups on demand for a week
Okay,
each time.
okay. Deal. Just a freebie. You don't even have to do it. You don't even have to do it. You do enough with the whole, 765, challenge and all that. You gave me pretty much something for nothing there. So I'll give you something for nothing here. I'll do 35 push-ups on demand for a whole week straight. This could be funny. Ron calls in. I'm going to miss his calls. Oh, man, I just tried to answer the call, Ron, but it just went through.
I know, right? No, you're a man with integrity. You'll pay it. Just like I wrote on my forehead when I missed the Philly defense that we had, Steeler defense.
35.
I paid it.
All right, done deal. Remember that because I won't.
I know you won't.
Put it down. Write it down in your steel brain. Rockout says,
"Hey,
rate my team in the mock draft." Okay, hold on. Let's go over.
I don't forget much. I don't forget much.
You forget.
I mean, look, I remembered what Fire said. His comment that put you guys in debate about Fields being.
Okay, Rockout's got McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson, Fields, DJ Moore, Kamara, Schultz. So I like it a lot, Rockout. And you might even, depending on where you draft, get Kamara like 2 rounds later. Like the crazy part is we're drafting Kamara in round 5 and 6 regularly on Sleeper. But I'm still taking a little bit of flack when I draft Kamara every single time around 7 or 8 in a best ball. So it's like, I mean, maybe, don't you guys think I might be onto something if everybody's forcing him in the 5th round? And I know the ADP's jacked up. That kind of drives everybody to do this. But I think Kamara in best ball is a steal.
Yeah, I think everybody's worried about the potential that might happen.
If you're wrong, you're going to have some messed up teams.
Yeah. But that's part of, fantasy football. Like sometimes I'll definitely try and diversify and not put all eggs in one basket. But when you talk about something that feels like such a home run and it's like the cost is very low, it can definitely be the reason why you win a best ball league because you did 75 variations of a Kamara drafted team. And then if you land kind of like Walker, huh?
The value. I can't deny the value of where you're getting them at.
Yeah. Kind of looking at Walker in round 9 last year, round 8. I never stopped doing it. I kept drafting him in every draft that I could. I didn't say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and avoid this because I got too many Walker shares. We just continued to do it. Just continued to steal him away. Every time Walker was there. And remember, I couldn't even resist reaching for him in round 6 and 7. And everyone's like, wait till 8. I'm like, I can't. Can't stop.
Yeah, I think if Kamara plays 10 games and, you pay off his ADP.
Yeah. All right, I got to go, guys.
Well,
George from the
he played it, though.
George from the Bay, appreciate you, pal. I got to get going. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks, guys. See you
Later. Ron, appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, later.
Later. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Get on over there. Links pinned in the live chat. Get ready for the next draft tomorrow night. So go ahead and sign up now and get your sign up on or ahead of time. I will see you all later. Peace out. Appreciate you. I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Every time news breaks, I'm live as well. And I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that will be tomorrow around midnight-ish. Later. Later, Rockout. Later, Matt. Appreciate you. Kamara is pleading innocent so far, so anything can happen. He could plea, though. He's probably going to plead to the lesser charge. Hey, Blind Larry. A little late. Appreciate you.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.